almost 20 pandemics and epidemics have been recorded in human history. However, none has come close to the global effect that have come as a result of COVID-19 outbreak. Did you know that if you are not keen to take care of our mental health during this COVID-19 outbreak, it might lead to a mental disorder? Let us find out more from our guest.
Grief and loss affects our mental health, and I'm very sorry for those who have lost their loved ones. People that previously had mental health challenges and those who have been recovering, like me, have felt the impact of COVID-19. And new cases are rising, from depression to anxiety and insomnia, and even the drug and substance use disorders are rising up. The measures that have been put in place to control the loss, measures like isolation, physical distancing, and certain measures like closing of schools and businesses. And all these measures, in Uganda we had around 34 measures. This has created environments and situations whereby people were getting to see the poor mental health outcomes because of such measures. And whether you're a child or an adult or an elderly person, we see that this event has had indirect impacts on our mental health. Yes.
Someone who is watching might be wondering, in their minds they want to know what is mental health and why should I pay attention to my mental health?
That's a good question. What is mental health? Briefly, mental health would just be described as the health of the mind. Just like you have physical health, there is a state of health that our minds can be in. The reason why we take care of our teeth, we understand the role that our teeth have. So to want to take care of our minds, we need to understand, okay, what does our mind do? And with the mind, we're able to reason, we're able to think, we're able to judge and perceive and be creative. All these things begin with the mind. So if we don't have a healthy mind, we won't do all these 5 things well. We won't reason well, won't think well, won't perceive life circumstances well, won't be as creative as we can be when our mind isn't able to function well. So with good mental health, with a good healthy mind, we're able to achieve the God-given potential. Yes.
Thank you very much. This show, you talked about the circumstances of life, and this show is called The Event. I would like to know, how do events affect our mental health?
That's also another good question. Well, the environment, what we experience, will affect how we think, reason, behave, our moods themselves. So the events of life, for example, think back to when you lost a loved one. How did that make you feel?
Made me feel sad, broken.
Yes. So we can see that these events events we go through have a way of affecting how we think, feel, and behave. So, whether it is loss of a loved one or loss of a job, these negative events will impact our mental health in a negative way. But think back on the time you got good news. How did that make you feel?
Already my face knows the message.
Yes, it does. So, positive events will impact our mental health in a positive way. It will release feel good hormones, and we're high and not high on drugs, but high in the state of mind, able to think well, reason well, judge well. So events have both a positive effect on our minds and a negative effect. But unfortunately, life is full of circumstances and events we can't control. And when the negative events happen, they can tend to hit us so bad. From failing an exam, but these traumatic events can even go to losing a relationship. I don't know if you've broken up with a girl before and how that impacts your own thinking, the moods and feelings. So events in a general sense will impact how we feel, think, and behave, how we respond. And that is how they affect our mental health. When you're sad, you want to curl up. You'd rather remain in the bed. And when these events happen, we find they can easily lead us to depression when not addressed, all the way from abuse, which is now in fact rising due to the event of COVID-19. We see that there's a lot of distress coming up or abuse because people are responding to this negative way through domestic violence, through drug and substance abuse, and thinking that these drugs would help them cope. What do we do now? How do we cope in this time? How do we brush our teeth? How do we maintain good mental health in this event? First of all, it takes work. It's not easy. It's like brushing your teeth. I always go back to that. We have to be intentional. And now more than ever, with the numbers rising and looking at history of other pandemics, now more than ever, we need to be intentional about mental health. And one of the things is we need to be aware of our thoughts and feelings and not try to hide them or cope with them wrongly, but address the fears, the anxieties that we're going through. Secondly, it would be about taking good care of ourselves. Things like having enough sleep, eating well. Tell me, how do you feel when you eat a banana?
I feel good.
Yes. So the right foods will impact our minds, will help us feel the right way. So we need to be more intentional. Personally, if I don't sleep, I'm so moody and irritable, and when things happen, I may not handle it well. But with a well rested mind, I'm able to cope. So simple things like have enough sleep, eat well, drink plenty of good fluids, but also have a well-being partner. Before the show, we're talking about sports and basketball and how you like that game, and you see the team effort to win it.
Yes.
So it is with mental health. It's not an individual. That support, someone you can be able to talk to when things are not going as we hoped. You know, this turned down. We've lost jobs. We're not certain of certain things. So we need to be able to talk to someone when these things happen, when the emotions and the anxiety comes. And the other ones is to seek help when you feel you're having symptoms of mental disorders, knowing that it's okay not to be okay. If the drinking has become too much, seek help. If the depression, if it's taking more to get out of bed, if you've lost interest for activities, seek help. But another thing, lastly, that helps me is anchoring on God who created me. And I know He is close to the brokenhearted. Personally, He boosts my mental health. Talking to Him about the fears and the anxieties and learning to cast them on Him and knowing that He knows my tomorrow. That even when I'm sleepless in the night because of anxieties, I can quickly run and talk to Him and know He has my future. So those are some of the tips, the many, but practicing one or two daily and being intentional about it really does help.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
As we unpack the mental health impact of major events in human history, remember that we all have major events that have happened in our lives. Our mental health determines the ability to achieve goals and handle normal stresses of life. So, it's about time we deal with the effects. Thank you for watching the show. For more exclusive information about mental health, please download the free Mind Hive app on Google Play Store, and also remember to follow us on our social media platforms. Please don't forget that pain is real and so is hope. Take care of your minds.